Hi there, welcome to Nerdarchy, for nerds by nerds. In this stealthy edition of Nerdarchy, we will be talking about 5th edition's Rogue. I'm Nerdarchist Ryan, accompanied by
Dave.
Ted.
Nate.
my band of thieves and rogues here.
Yeah, your own personal guild.
Rogues Gallery, if you will.
Nice. So, Rogues 5th edition, man, they're pretty sick.
Well, except for the fact that now they're only sneaking once a round, but yeah.
Yeah, but they can do it every round.
Yeah.
Which is not very long.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we discovered.
off camera we just demonstrated that. Straight that by
We snuck attack Nate.
multiple
Twice.
times. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we just proved 6 seconds is not very long. But I want to bring up one important thing about the Rogue because I'll probably forget about it, and we recently discovered it, even though it's been there the whole time. The Rogue and the Fighter are the only classes that they get extra stat bumps or feats if you're using the optional rules.
Normally the classes get 4, rogues get 5, and fighters get 6.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yes.
Yep. That's right.
So if
Now-
you're using the optional rules, you can get a feat, or you just get the stat bump, and that gives you the higher stat increases than anybody else.
Now, I feel that...
I think
that
you have that a
happened-
little off, Ted. Rogue gets 6, Fighter gets 7, everyone else gets 5.
Oh, my apologies.
All right, that works.
Well,
Don't
Fighter's a
get
little
us
low.
screamed at by the interwebs.
Oh, they're gonna scream at us
the
anyway.
internet. Oh,
Yeah, so one thing I found was I kind of went through the classes, and especially when I just first looked at it, I went and I said, oh, these first 4 levels look cool. Oh, yeah, there's a stat thing or feat. And then now I'm going to read the class features. I just didn't, because all
It
those
looks like
different-
the same ability for everybody.
Yeah. It looks pretty formulaic, and then you get the rules exception of those two.
Yeah, and I just assumed it just went that way because I started looking at the class features. I was like, oh, they get a whole bunch.
Well, you know what they say about assuming.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, it makes sense for somebody that's going to be like a sort of a physical pinnacle or whatever. Like whereas like spellcasters, they have all the spellcastery stuff going on. Well, the rogue and also the fighter, they've got that whole thing of like, well, I just work on being able to scan people really well, or
Right.
sneaking up and slitting their throats.
Well, yeah, basically you're getting the stat bump / feat rather than access to better spells.
Yeah.
Because basically, aside from the extreme costs of putting in
Yeah.
your spell book, they're practically free.
But you know what, though? I never felt like either the Fighter or the Rogue was missing anything.
Oh, no.
Because, with their other abilities, because their other abilities are decent enough. Well, not decent enough. Their other abilities are good, and they're thematic. It just felt right. But then you realize they get that extra bump, and it makes them so much better. Mm-hmm. And so, with the Rogue, basically, you get what you expect. They're D8
But
for
what
hit
would
dice.
be most appropriate for rogue is getting the thing you don't expect.
Well, maybe.
Did you
Is that
say
the spell
D8
thief?
hit dice?
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe.
it is.
maybe.
I wasn't expecting that. I
was
actually
not-
never looked at that.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, they've upped the dice die, but that was something that was happening with Pathfinder. Did that too in 3rd edition, up the dice for the spellcaster.
And you can't put the spellcaster up to D6 and then be like, Rogue, yeah, you're just as bad in combat as a spellcaster.
Oh yeah. So.
Maybe. They get light armor. They get, simple weapons, hand crossbows, long swords, rapiers, short swords. And they get the tool proficiency of thieves' tools.
Yeah, so it's all stuff that previous editions of rogues.
It's
could
pretty.
do.
Yeah, what they've done with
It's
them.
all their standards.
Yeah.
They get the most skills.
Yeah. So how about the
with
fact
4.
that they've pretty much said with the rogue as far as sneak attacking, unless they're gonna do something special to change it at some point in time, it's all finesse based. Like you can't make that sort of like brutalizing rogue that's like gonna whack somebody with a sledgehammer in the back of the head.
Yeah.
Like it's like all precision strike because everything's key to your dex. It has to be a finesse weapon that does it.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of is a bit annoying that you have to use a finesse weapon or a thrown weapon.
Yeah.
I like the fact that there are finesse weapons and you don't have to have strength to have good amount of damage on your attacks as a rogue. I mean, there is that benefit.
It puts that huge premium on Dex, like even more so than it's been in past edition.
Yeah.
And, like Dex has always been a pretty strong stat, but now to like have it be armor class. And
Here's
then
something
attack
I thought
and
about
damage.
before.
And initiative.
So here's the wording, right? The attack must be a finesse or ranged weapon.
Yeah.
It doesn't actually say you have to use your dexterity.
So you could use a thrown weapon, like a hand axe.
Oh yeah, you could do that.
Yeah.
But what
Which
if
is
you
not
use
a finesse
but
weapon.
when you use finesse weapons, I think you have the choice of using your dexterity. I don't think you have to.
I believe you're correct.
Yeah.
So if
But so you got to use something.
But
with
you're
the
not
finesse
using a
qualifier.
great sword. You're not gonna
No.
You're not gonna make the
or even a club or a sap.
Well, I mean, but
You're not going- you're
but
not
a
going
sap, like that's always been like the like
Well,
I'm
that-
gonna knock you out like
That was
with a
I was
temple
trying to
blow.
make that point.
Yeah.
But
The
like,
sap-
you're
is the sap
not
even
making
in
you're not making the half orc
No.
thug that's gonna walk out there and be like, yep, I've got this great sword or this great axe, and I'm gonna add 3d6 extra sneak attack damage while I'm trying to cut you in half.
But if you're like headmaning someone, like
I'm not saying that like in previous editions that was allowed.
Yeah.
This edition that says no.
Well, if you're actually going to cut somebody's head off, it's not really in. They don't have dismemberment in the rules, from what I've seen.
But I mean, if you're going, well, I mean, if it's
finished
enough,
that section of the DMG.
yeah, it's in the DMG, or if you're just, if you're outright doing enough damage to like instantly kill them, I would say that's pretty reasonable to say they're
absolutely.
dismembered.
Yeah.
But like it's just like you're going for like a major artery in the neck. Like that's a pretty sneaky attack, sort of attack. Like it's a major nerve in the body.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know. So it makes sense. I kind of hope that there's something. Although in this edition, as the DM, if they'll allow it, like yeah, sure, you could sneak attack with a non.
Yeah, and that's the thing about this edition. The rules say this. If you can persuade your DM to allow it, then absolutely.
I mean, that's every edition of the game, but I don't know. Cunning action?
Cunning.
Anybody?
Yeah. Well, I mean, but before that, we got to get into expertise.
Yeah.
Yeah, expertise is pretty nice. I skipped ahead a little bit to go to sneak attack.
Expertise is great. You just starting at first level, you pick 2 skills that you just double your proficiency bonus in. That's just awesome.
I already have one of my favorite skills for that.
Well, what's that?
Absolutely, perception.
Perception is great. Yeah, no, I
where your passive is better than what your average roll is going to be.
Yeah.
It could be, yes.
But I mean, really, like when you're defining the character of what your rogue does, like expertise really is the way that you say it. Like if you have expertise, then you're really saying that this is the thing that my rogue like concentrates on.
Or is just naturally talented in.
Right. But I mean, like it's kind of like the skills you've been honing and working on are the things that are your focuses. Like if your character's like the lock picker, like, or the trap finder, you're gonna go thieves, tools, and perception. If you're the charlatan type, you would take like deception and persuasion. Like so it's kind of cool to set up your entire character concept off of it.
Yeah, you get
And then, of course,
you get the type of boost that really sets you apart from other people.
Indeed. And of course, at 6th level, you get 2 more.
Yep.
So,
yeah, that's true.
So you have to be really good at some stuff. They brought back the thieves' cant,
which is always nice.
I think hasn't that kind of always been in
Nah,
the no,
it's been
they
missing.
did take it out with 3rd. So yeah, it did go away for a little bit, and now it's back. Right. So, and then it's another one of those secret languages that you can learn in this edition.
If you can
bit
find
of a
a
cost.
teacher.
Yeah, if you can find
Yeah.
a teacher. So, yeah, that's good.
and have the gold.
And have the gold.
Cunning action.
Cunning action.
Now we can do cunning action.
Now
Yeah, I guess we can.
it's allowable. Yeah.
This is one of the cooler features of the rogue class, and it's really sweet. It gets you those extra actions every turn, where you can disengage, dash, or hide, which I've seen you use to great effect.
Yeah. When you're a Lightfoot halfling, party members make the best
Cover.
giant tower shields you could possibly have. Actually, it's a tower shield that walks with you, and you don't even have to carry it, and you just get behind it at will. So yeah, it's pretty fantastic.
Well, and not only that too, getting your movement as a bonus action is also pretty sweet as well. If you need to haul ass and get out of there, you could actually do a double dash.
You could double dash. Yeah.
Double dash
Yeah.
down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Double down on the dash.
Yeah.
So if you have a 30 movement that cranks it to a 90.
Yeah. I mean, it's one thing about it though is it's like economy of actions. Like you can I have a character that sometimes fights with 2 daggers, but because of the way actions work in this edition, only the first round generally do I get the 2 attacks with the daggers, and then like to make sure I always get the sneak off, I always have to like go use a party member for cover to be able to hide behind them, and then be able to come out from behind them and throw another dagger as a sneak, because it's just more effective when using a D4 weapon, So it's kind of economy of actions wise, like. It puts a damper on your character that might want to fight with 2 weapons. Well, really, you kind of have to pick or choose one or the other. So, but it's a trade-off.
Yeah, whether you're going to get up in there and mix it up, or you're going to be sneaky.
My character does not do the mixing up. It's not a good.
So
place
at
to
third
be.
level, we get to pick our roguish archetypes. We have 3 of which.
We do.
One of which I don't know how I feel about one of which.
Which one is the one that you're so on? The assassin?
Nah, the spell thief.
Oh yeah.
Like in 5th edition, they felt the need to actually incorporate a spellcasting class into every class, whether it is a spellcasting class or not. And
which would be actually the arcane trickster and not the spell thief.
Oh yeah,
Stealthy
arcane
sounds
trickster.
so much cooler.
It does sound kind of a bit cooler.
I'm like,
sounds
wow,
like
I don't remember reading
It
that.
sounds so cool. It might have even been a prestige class.
back in the day.
Yeah.
I just imagine a guy fireball.
Yeah, the arcane trickster. So I don't know. I almost feel like I'd rather multi-class than make an arcane trickster.
Or do a little from column A and B.
Well, the way I looked at it was they looked at, all right, in this edition, if you went fighter, if you went mage, you're gonna wind up with, the levels and spells pretty much what you see here. Unless you do a little bit of thief and a lot of wizard. And then, you're changing the dynamics. You're more a wizard who dabbles in thieving rather than a thief who dabbles in wizardry. With your spellcasting, here you get, lopped off at only 4th level spells. But if you're a thief that is looking to just augment your sneaky stuff with spellcasting, I actually think it's a very good mix.
Yeah, and invisibility here or there.
The
Some
spell
silence.
selection that they get access to is pretty good. They're all spells that work along the lines of this. So you're not looking like, oh, I'm a spell, I'm a thief and fireball, magic missile, lightning bolt. They're not thematic spells for a thief.
Well, one of the things that this might do too is just to it might help you with when you multi-class, like the way the charts and tables work, because now you have, like, it gives you spell casting, so this way when you average out sort of on the level progression chart of multi-classing, I wonder if that puts you at a slightly higher level when you're multi-classing.
Well,
So are you talking about
because-
taking wizard levels as well as arcane trickster?
Right.
Okay.
Because that might put you at a slightly higher tier. When you
It does.
Yeah.
Here's an example, right? Say you decide to go, with Eldritch Knight or with Arcane Trickster, you go to level 6. That gives you effectively 2 more spellcasting levels. So you're losing 4 levels of the 6, as opposed to, if you were to just if you were to just go straight up, because your spellcasting levels will be straight. Mm-hmm. So your wizard, if you're a 6 and 6, your wizard would be 6 levels of spellcasting plus 2 levels, which would make you an 8th level caster, as far as how many spells you have.
Right.
So
it does make you a little better, and with some of the stuff that the wizard gets, as far as having a school, are pretty sweet. So that actually at least take 2 levels of wizard,
Get
like
the school
get a school that feels like what your character should be, like if you're a specialist.
Well,
wizard.
I feel like what they did there with this is they give you all the options, but they don't want to give you all the spell casting.
Right.
So you'll get a lot more spell casting with cantrips, but as per your spells per se, your slots are going to be way down compared to the amount of things you can do. Like when you make a multi-class with spell casting, a lot of times you end up with higher level spells you can cast than you actually have.
Yeah.
Right.
At that point, it's good to be having the ones that you can bump up. to
Right.
a higher
Well,
level.
which there's plenty of.
Yeah.
So that's,
So if you
not
were,
really
if you
at a
were to do
loss.
that, you'd obviously want to take wizard spells that have the ability to be bumped up, so that you can use your arcane trickster spells in the regular spell slots and the wizard spells in the pumped.
Or vice versa. It depends. Yeah. Like, so, Arcane Trickster, right? I know for Eldritch Knight, you can only take from certain schools. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say this is probably the same way. Yep, Enchantment and Illusion. And then you have a certain amount of spells you can take from anywhere. So, so they're keeping it thematic to what it is. Arcane Tricksters, they get their mage hand leisure main. So basically, they can pick pockets and stuff with their mage hand.
Which is a really cool ability.
Keeps you out of harm's way.
When did they get that, anyway?
Third.
They get that right away.
That's the class featured.
Yeah, and it gets better later on.
Trying to disarm a trap from a distance sounds pretty good.
Yeah, it sounds like the prudent choice. Yeah.
Sounds like life expectancy just went up.
Yeah. And, at I think 13th level, you can actually use it to distract an opponent that someone's attacking or something.
Nice.
Ooh, no.
Yeah.
Who's grabbing me?
Yeah, you distract them and it gives, one of your allies an advantage on attack rolls against them. And this is probably why I called it Spell Thief, because they get an ability called Spell Thief.
Yeah.
At 17th level.
I was thinking you're just doing like the Mr. T thing with Mohawk Elf and like the WoW commercial back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, for archaic.
Right, so that's Arcane Trickster. For the road that you're playing in my game, you went with Thief.
I did go with Thief, which Thief is pretty like sort of your cliche, like your old school.
You're generic.
Yeah, exactly. Like the class used to be called Thief back in the day, and this is kind of that. So
then you have Assassin, which while it's got the word assassin in it, it's generally just more of a you're more of a combat rogue. You can totally do, hey, I'm a bounty hunter.
Well, yeah, kind of, but they also give the other things, which is kind of weird, but they do like disguise kit, poisoner's kit. It's very much themed assassin, which is I like it.
What I'm saying is you don't have to say I'm going the assassin route, and that makes me just a cold-blooded murderer.
Have to go kill people. And dig contracts.
You could say, what, I'm going to be a bounty hunter, or, I'm just going to be a combat heavy guy. And
you're a bounty hunter that poisons people.
Yeah.
Paralyzation poison. Sleep.
The fantasy equivalent of the taser.
Yeah.
Nice.
Not saying you have to go with, the super deadly,
canes that double as blow darts.
All right, folks, you heard it here. Ted said you have to murder everyone if you play the assassin.
Yep.
Or you could be like a James Bond type. Yeah, secret agent. Like James Bond
works.
James Bond
Spy.
Poison somebody. Yeah, you could totally be a spy.
Yeah, I mean, they get Death Strike, but who wants to use that? We'll call it extreme pillow hitting. That's no one has to be murdered then.
So you don't have to take the word assassin as, well, that's it. I go out and murder people.
This is my occupation.
Besides, your Death Strike doesn't actually murder them anyway. You just do double damage or something.
Yeah.
Including your sneak, right?
Moderately inconvenient strike.
Yeah.
This hurts me more than
First through third level popping strike.
Yeah.
Although I wonder if that stacks with a crit.
The way I read it, it sounds like just if they fail to save, you double whatever damage you just rolled.
Well, yeah. If you just rolled a crit damage, you would double it.
That's the way I read it.
Because isn't it the third level ability? If you surprise someone, it's a critical hit.
Yeah.
That would be
so basically at 17th level they can do double damage.
Yeah.
Which is more than triple damage.
Yeah.
That's pretty nasty.
Now, okay.
So all right. So maybe it does murder most things.
Well, so
definitely polar bears.
You only double the weapon die, on a crit.
You double sneak damage.
You double sneak too.
Extra dice get double. You don't double the modifiers.
Okay. So you.
And so you damn well should have a 20 dex with the assassin.
17th level. All right, so it's 9d6. Let's suppose they're using a short sword. That's 10d. They crit. That's 20.
20d6.
And then they fail their save. 40 die 6 damage.
That's Meteor Swarm.
They've outshined your fireball.
And this says double damage, so I would say you actually double your modifier damage as well.
I would assume so, yes.
Because the crits calls it out what you do.
You roll it once, and then if they fail their save, you just
double all the damage they do.
You don't re-roll, but
because that's too many dice. That's a lot of dice. Yeah. Just like get a Yahtzee count.
I'd have to go into my secondary bin of dice to get.
It would be a lot more fun to roll all the dice.
All 40 D6. I don't think I would feel like counting it, man. That's
Well, that's not the fun part.
Yeah.
Well, the DM will just look at all the dice and go, it's dead.
It's dead. Whatever it is. Is it not a deity or a demigod?
Yeah.
It's dead. Yeah. So
I don't know. I've seen some of the hit points of some of those monsters. Whenever you're fighting at 17th level, it's possible to just be like, yeah, I can take that.
Wow, that's true. What do we say, 40 D6?
Yeah.
On average, it's 120 points of damage.
Okay.
And then you probably have, a plus 5. So that's
Yeah.
another 10. So it's like 130 points of damage to start.
That's a lot.
That's good, but I
what's a hit point on like an ancient red dragon or something?
I don't-
More than that.
I don't know,
like
but the
insta-kill anybody
the
with 60 hit
CR2 that I
points.
sent against you guys a couple of times has 85.
Yeah.
CR2.
You could take that CR2 out.
I murder CO2s like nobody's business.
Extrapolate that, my friends.
Yeah. Extrapolating all the way.
So,
Yeah. So let's see. So I mean the thief gets some expanded options with what he can do for his the cunning action. You're pretty good at doing the whole roof runner thing with not being penalized for climbing fast. For climbing you're not losing movement as far as that goes. What is it? You have advantage on dexterity stealth checks if you don't do more than half your move as far as that
but
goes.
see, the thing is, the wording there says supreme sneak. It should be supreme stealth. Because sneak is sneak attack.
Yeah, well, it sets you up to be able to sneak, though. So there's that.
I don't know.
Yeah, because you get some of your movement.
Well,
you still get.
the fast hands is cool too. You get to, added a couple more actions to your cunning action.
Yeah, he said that.
Like break into somewhere really quick because there's something really nasty coming at you.
As a bonus
Yeah.
action, you just disarm and open locks. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty handy. Yeah.
Got that shit.
Well, I mean, yeah, especially because I think it's a full round action for most other instances.
Wow.
So to be able to do
So that's
that.
a big benefit
Yeah.
added to the thief.
Yeah.
Yeah, their 17th level, man, is pretty sick.
17th level.
They can take 2 actions.
Yeah, yeah.
When you reach 17th level, you have become adept at laying ambushes and quickly escaping danger. You can take 2 turns during the first round of any combat. You take your first turn at your normal initiative and your second turn at your initiative minus 10.
That's not 2 actions. That's
2
2
turns.
full rounds.
2 full turns. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
Can't use this when you're surprised.
Yeah. I mean, so you're not. It's not like you're going to be able to
Expertise
dish
and
out.
perception.
It's not like It's not like you're going to be outdoing the assassin for sheer damage, but the idea of like I do something to kind of incapacitate the dude I'm trying to get away from, and then getting the hell out of dodge.
Or you're just getting the hell out of dodge.
Yeah. Twice as fast. You're really good at running
Like,
away.
all right, well, I'm in the dragon's horde, and he found me. I pick up.
I move 180 feet away.
I pick up the item. I run, and then on my next turn, this turn, I move.
And it's still after me. It's a dragon.
Yeah, but you don't have to outrun the dragon. Just
have to
trust your
outrun the
party.
party.
Yeah, no, that's true. You got this, right?
Fighter, fight!
It's in your name.
I mean,
Job description.
You get like a whole another like 2 feats. You should be good to go, right? I mean,
You got this.
yeah, that's all you.
Yeah,
Don't
so
feed
Dragon
that
Slayer
dragon.
and win-win.
Yeah.
So, did we manage to cover a rogue pretty
Did
well?
we disarm the rogue trap? You think?
The rogue track? Maybe. I think, thematically, mechanically, they cover the
Dramatically.
rogue. Rogue is really good. They get blind sense. Did you know that?
Blind sense. What?
This
Yeah,
is right
14th
on the
level.
chart at
Oh, yeah,
15th level.
14th. 14th.
14th level.
Oh yeah, that's pretty sweet. Pretty handy. Yeah, we didn't really talk enough about their baseline abilities, but the whole
slippery mind. Does that mean Illithas have problems with them?
Oh, maybe. At 15th level, you acquire great mental strength. You gain proficiency in wisdom saving throws. So they get another saving throw. So they have dex, intelligence, and wisdom. Not bad.
Not bad.
Not to mention evasion.
dude.
Always helpful.
Yeah.
So there's no reason to do anything except max out your decks. as a rogue, right? I mean, your damage, your attack, your initiative, your armor class.
It really would seem that way.
Dex is
Dex
most
is
of your
superior.
skills
very
that you
weighted.
want to have, besides the charisma-based ones.
reliable talent.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
You can't roll less than a 10.
yeah. Well, I mean, that's pretty cool. That, but elusive at 18th level. That you basically no one ever gets advantage on you for attack rolls, unless you're already down.
You have to be unconscious.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just like if I'm awake, you're just not getting the upper hand on me. That's pretty awesome. So there's some good
So
reasons
just
to want to at least be
Just the
an
general
18th level.
rogue without any of the extra bumps from
The baseline, yeah.
the
it's
groups that you can
And
select.
let's not forget you have that. Hey, I've got this pocket 20 I can pull out whenever I feel like.
And
level
let's
20.
face it, you're the assassin, and you're trying to hit someone with your death strike, and on a surprise, you'd be like, yeah, this would be a good time to just have a 20.
Yeah. Well, because then it's an auto crit, and then all the damage pile on top of that. And
It's not an auto crit though.
oh no, you have to.
Well, for the assassin, it is.
Well, yeah, for the assassin it is because of being the sneak
Surprise, yeah.
surprise. But anybody else, it's just a
It's a
hit.
guaranteed hit.
Yeah, they very carefully worded it so you couldn't do a guaranteed crit.
Wait, you treat the D20 roll as a 20.
As a 20.
Treat it as a 20. A 20 is a
Alternatively, if you have a fail on an ability check, you can treat the D20 roll as a 20.
Oh, okay.
If your attack misses a target within range, you can turn the miss into a hit.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
Yeah,
You know,
I want to tell you
they
guys,
lawyered
5th
the shit
edition.
out of the wording.
5th edition, they've been very good at shutting us down when we try and whore the system over.
Yeah.
We're like, we're so weak. We so found it. It's broken. We broke it. And then you find like the rule that says no.
No,
you can't
this
do
this
that.
thing that you thought you could do, because like if it turned into a 20, half orc rogue. All right, because then you get the extra D. Like using not a great axe, because you technically can't unless your GM's really nice. So
Dun,
yeah.
dun, dun. But your half orc rogue could so sneak attack, assassinate, critical them like nobody's business with that dagger.
You could. Well, or the rapier. Although there's something so wrong about
Half-orc
a half-orc
rapier.
wielding a rapier.
Are there any finesse axes out there?
Yeah.
Or a thrown axe?
Yeah.
That would be appropriate.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can
he's
throw
got
it.
to throw an axe at him.
Yeah. I got an axe for you.
It so happens it looks like a great axe.
Yeah, maybe his
It says-
assassin name's the Splitter.
It says ranged weapon. I threw it, didn't I?
Or the Lumberjack.
Yeah. He's wearing the red plaid.
Yeah.
That's good.
And even if they're 5 feet away, he throws it at them. Because it's not a finesse weapon.
Because otherwise it's not a sneak attack.
Exactly.
It travels this far.
He steps back, taking the attack of opportunity, just so he can step back and
I
throw.
leaned back a little so I didn't punch him while I threw it at him.
Alright, so there's some wonky things in the rules, but what are you going to do?
No, this is
Nothing's perfect.
Nope. All right. Well, do we want to put a bow on it?
Let's wrap that sucker up.
All right. Well, you can like, comment, subscribe, or possibly even share this video.
You can find us at nerdarchy.com.
You can check us out on Facebook.
You can also find us on Reddit at Nerdarchy, How to Stay Nerdy.
Well, until next time.
Stay nerdy.
Really well, or
Right.
sneaking up and slitting their throats.
Well, yeah, basically you're getting the stat bump / feat rather than access to better spells.
Yeah.
Because basically, aside from the extreme costs of putting in
Yeah.
your spell book, they're practically free.
But you know what, though? I never felt like either the fighter or the rogue was missing anything.
Oh no.
Because, with their other abilities, because their other abilities are decent enough. Well, not decent enough. Their other abilities are good, and they're thematic. It just felt right. But then you realize they get that extra bump, and it makes them so much better. Mm-hmm. And so with the rogue, basically, you get what you expect. They're D8.
Stat thing or feat, and then now I'm going to read the class features. I just didn't because
It looks like the same ability for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks pretty formulaic, and then you get
Yeah.
you get the rules exception of those two.
Yeah, and I just assumed it just went that way because I started looking at the class features. I was like, oh, they get a whole bunch.
Well, you know what they say about assuming.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, yeah, it makes sense for somebody that's going to be like a sort of a physical pinnacle or whatever. Like whereas like spellcasters, they have a little spellcastery stuff going on. Well, the rogue and also the fighter, they've got that whole thing of like, well, I just work on being able to scan people really. Hi there, welcome to Nerdarchy, for nerds by nerds. In this stealthy edition of Nerdarchy, we will be talking about 5th edition's Rogue. I'm Nerdarchist Ryan, accompanied by
Dave.
Ted?
Nate.
my band of thieves and rogues here.
Yeah, your own personal guild.
Rogues Gallery, if you will.
Nice. So, Rogues 5th edition, man, they're pretty sick.
Well, except for the fact that now they're only sneaking once a round, but yeah.
Yeah, but they can do it every round.
Yeah.
Which is not very long.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we discovered.
off camera we just demonstrated that. Demonstrated that by
We snuck attack Nate.
multiple
Twice.
times. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we just proved 6 seconds is not very long. But I want to bring up one important thing about the Rogue because I'll probably forget about it, and we recently discovered it, even though it's been there the whole time. The Rogue and the Fighter are the only classes that they get extra stat bumps or feats if you're using the optional rules.
Normally the classes get 4, rogues get 5, and fighters get 6.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yes.
Yeah. That's right.
So if
Now-
you're using the optional rules, you can get a feat, or you just get the stat bump, and that gives you the higher stat increases than anybody else.
Now, I feel that...
I think
that
you have that a
happened-
little off, Ted. Rogue gets 6, Fighter gets 7, everyone else gets 5.
Oh, my apologies.
All right, that works.
Well,
All right.
Don't
a
get
little
us
low.
screamed at by the interwebs.
Oh, they're gonna
All
scream
the
at us anyway.
internet. All
Yeah, so
the
one thing I found was I kind of went through the classes, and especially when I just first looked at it, I went and I said, oh, these first 4 levels look cool. Oh, yeah, there's this